reliability of that?
We don't know whether it's reliable, Tom. We do know that in an interview with investigators, one person, apparently we're told, who has talked to the hijackers, thought that there might be other cities, that Atlanta might be among them, but there's simply no way to know whether that is true. It's totally unconfirmed at this point. No way to know what to make of it.
And Pete, yesterday they were talking about tracking down 40 so-called associates who may have had a role in these hijackings. They still on the trail of those people?
Well, yes, but that number, I think, has expanded more to 100. The associates might be anyone known to have associated with the terrorists, but also anybody who might have been, had information about them. Anybody that a hijacker ever called on a telephone. Check all their phone logs, check all their financial records, see if they ever show up on videotape together. Did they ever make a credit card purchase together? That's where this list of 100 comes, and undoubtedly it will grow.
Thank you very much, NBC's Pete Williams tonight. Now let's go to NBC's Kerry Sanders tonight in Delray Beach, Florida. He is moving around with the latest on what we know about the alleged hijackers and their pilot training in Florida. Kerry?
Well, Tom, here in Delray Beach, Florida, 2 of the suicide pilots on the list of 19 that was released by the FBI lived here really unnoticed by residents. Records show that while they lived here, they also lived at other locations in Florida. It's a complicated trail to follow, but the one thing the FBI has been able to stitch together, at least 7 of the pilots on their list trained to fly in Florida. The portrait emerging to FBI investigators, the suicide pilots lived out of suitcases, constantly on the move. 22-year-old Walid al-Shari, one of the identified suicide pilots. For 5 weeks this year, he lived at this Boynton Beach, Florida motel, $285 a week, paying his way with a Visa card.
I'm just worried about how they get to be so close and you never know. They be right here and you'll never know nothing.
Other pilots on the FBI list stayed at the Bimini Hotel in Hollywood for a month this year, $650. The hotel manager says an anonymous man paid the bill in advance in cash.
And he said that he was looking for a room for these guys for a month because they wanted to get their pilot's license.
NBC News has obtained copies of airline tickets purchased just 6 days before the hijackings, sold to suicide pilots Saeed Al-Ghamdi and Ahmed Al-Nami. The tickets purchased at this Fort Lauderdale travel agency. The only demand, according to the travel agent who sold the tickets, the men said they had to be in Newark, New Jersey by the 7th, just 3 days before the terrorist attacks. The men paid $139.75 each to fly Spirit Airlines from Fort Lauderdale to Newark.
We get a lot of people that come up and only buy one-way tickets. They were very quiet. They just sat there. They were patient while I looked up different flights. They paid in cash, and they didn't wait for their change, and then they left.
Several of the suicide pilots used as their home addresses, mailboxes, etc., making it difficult for anyone to track them down. And sources tell NBC News, to cause further confusion, several men on the FBI list of 19 would sometimes switch the order of their names. Suicide pilot Zaid Zerahi telling some people he met his name was actually Zerahi Zaid Shahir. Now, FBI agents say one of the most difficult things is following the money. The paper trail is really not there when it comes to the money, except for the Visa records from that hotel or that motel in Boynton Beach. They have gotten those Visa records. They're now running the numbers because clearly what they're trying to find now is who supported these people in all of their endeavors in Florida. It is not inexpensive to live here, go to flight school, and just go about what they were doing here. Tom?
NBC's Kerry Sanders, thanks very much. And for the latest on the presumed mastermind behind all of this, Osama bin Laden, we're going to turn now to NBC's Andrea Mitchell. Andrea, he's the most sought-after person on the planet tonight. Do they have any idea where on earth he may be?
Well, Tom, Osama bin Laden has been targeting Americans since George Bush's father was president, and a decade later, the U.S. is not any closer to finding him.
He's known as the contractor, the head of a loose-knit confederation of terror groups, dispatching operatives around the world. A master of media manipulation, he first stages high-profile interviews to threaten the U.S., then strikes his targets, and immediately moves to the next tent, mud hut or cave, disappearing from view and very well protected.